Here's your hosts, Rob Kelly and Michael Ray.
Hello, good evening, and welcome. My name's Rob Kelly. This is Talking Sober. Hi, guys. How are you? What a great week last week. I'm here with my co-host again, Michael Ray. Michael, how are we doing, sir?
I'm doing good, Rob. How are you doing this week?
Oh, I'm doing very good. We've got a lot to talk about this week. I want to thank everybody last week for calling in. We had a great first show. This is our second show. Excited about tonight, of course. We're going to pick up some serious points tonight, of course. We're going to talk about the teen in Keller. Michael, what have you got on that?
Well, of course, I mean, everybody's been talking about it. It's been all over the news all week. And I just want to go over some of the facts of the teen in Keller. And we're not going to give his name here. A lot of news outlets are. Some aren't. I don't want to give his name. He's still a teen. First of all, he was 3 times the legal limit.
3 times the legal limit.
That's
3
a lot.
times. Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot. He did get convicted 4 counts of manslaughter and 2 counts of assault. Alcohol assault and alcoholic manslaughter. I don't really know what the difference is. I guess you got to be drunk for one and not the other. There were 7 people in the truck. He was sentenced in juvenile court. They had stolen 2 cases of beer earlier in that evening.
Wow.
And I don't know where it's from. Well, I do. I just don't want to say the name of the store. The judge was Jean Boyd. In the case, that was her name, the lady who sentenced him.
Now, here's the most controversial piece now, because you're going to tell us what he got sentenced to.
Well, he got 10 years probation.
10 years probation. Now, that, just let me stop you there, Michael. That alone makes me sick to my stomach when I hear stuff like that. 10 years probation. He's not even going to go to jail. He's going to just get 10 years probation. There's 4 people died in this accident. There's 2 people that are going to suffer for the rest of their lives, if not the other 5 in the truck as well, because it'll scar them mentally for life. And this kid has just got walked away with a probation period. I don't get it, Michael. I don't get it.
Well, I did a little digging on the sentencing and what came with it. And I did a lot of homework, and I checked out a lot of websites, all the major news websites. And she did that because it kept him in the system for 10 years. If she would have sentenced him and sent him to jail, that would have been the easy thing to do. Everybody would have been happy. He would have gone to jail, but he would have been out in probably 2 years because he would have been out of the juvenile system back on the street.
But what sort of message does that send to everybody else out there? And I don't mean to be controversial about this, but let's get real about this. You know, there's got a young kid here. He's 3 times over the drink driving limit. He crashes his car. He's doing 70 miles an hour in a 40-mile-an-hour zone, apparently, allegedly.
Yes, that's right, yeah.
And he kills 4 people. And all of a sudden, surely anybody else from now on's got to get probation, haven't they?
Well, no, I mean, he was, if he'd have been an adult in adult court, he would have gone to jail that day. I mean, he would have gone to jail, and that would have been the end of it. But, this judge, I really think she sat down and thought about it. And there's a lot of people who think she didn't think about it and that money was a factor or whatever. But I think she really sat down and, she's getting death threats over this.
So money had nothing to do with this, you reckon?
Nothing I've read indicates that. Now, all the people that want to spin it towards money or anything like that, they're definitely doing that from what I'm reading. But if you read several sources, I don't really think money played a factor in it. His parents' wealth. I mean, they're having to send him to a treatment center in California. It costs almost $500,000 a year. $500,000 a year.
When you say
in several years, he's going to be there.
That's going to be some sort of holiday camp, surely.
I don't think so. If he breaks away from their routine at all, he goes to jail. I mean, he's on probation, so he has to stick with the program that they're doing, or he goes to jail. He's incarcerated, and by her giving him probation, he'll stay in the system past 18. So if he breaks his probation at 21, he goes to jail.
Guys, this is Talking Sober. Give us a call, 888-787-KLIF, 888-787-5543, if you've got something to say on this topic. Who do we blame for this, Michael? Do we blame the kid for just being mollycoddled, if you will, all his life? Do we blame the parents? Who do we blame for this? Does somebody got to come to a fault who's blameless for this?
Well, I think you can pass blame around. There's tons of people to blame. But I think it all goes back to our favorite little friend, alcohol.
Well, of course it does.
I mean, the tentacles of this have reached out. There were 7 people in the truck. 4 people were killed. And the families that were touched by this, it goes into the hundreds of people that are affected by this. And it's sad. It's the worst kind of accident. Kids involved, young people killed, their lives taken away. It's horrible. And it just shows you when you make that decision to get in your car drinking and driving, you are taking the life of other people you're taking their lives into your hands, and
Yeah,
you're just
of
you don't
course.
know how it's going to come out. I always tell my kids this: it takes 1 second of bad decisions to change your life. 1 second,
Yeah,
and it changes your life forever.
Yeah, it does. And, you know, even one drink, as we know.
Yes.
Just in case you missed last week's show, guys, me and Michael are in recovery. That means we don't drink anymore, don't take drugs or anything like that. So this is important to us. This is special to us. When something like this happens, it just makes, I mean, it doesn't make a difference what side of the fence you're on here. And I don't mean that just, you know, just saying that. I mean, think about this for a second. If it's controversial or not, if you're for the teen getting probation or not, or you should have got a harsh sentence, it doesn't fix the matter that 4 lives have been taken, and there's 2 that are permanently affected. Apparently, one's paralyzed, just for the sake of alcohol. Now, somebody's got to be pointing fingers here, and somebody's got to take the blame. That's what I mean by who's to blame here. I mean, do we blame the parents? I mean, the guy, he's 16 years old. I mean, surely, remind me, because I'm English, remind me, in America, I thought he was 21 years old before you can drink.
It is 21 till you can drink. Yeah, that's true.
So there's another offence. You know, 16 years old, he gets into a car, a deadly vehicle, he drives down, and all of a sudden this happens. Surely the parents are to blame here.
Well, I mean, everybody, of course, wants to blame somebody. Everybody wants to blame somebody. The fact is, I don't care who you blame. It goes back to alcohol. It just goes back to alcohol. I mean, you can blame whoever you want. You can say whatever you want. Those lives are still gone. It's horrible. This kid's going to be in the system for years, and it's just a really just horrible thing. We're having to even talk about it. And what really burns me up when I was reading all this judge is getting death threats for making a decision. I really think she sat down and made a decision. She's an elected judge. She can be recalled by the governor if he gets a certain amount of votes in the House and Senate, Texas State House and Senate, 2/3, I believe. So, you know, she can be recalled, but she's not seeking re-election. She'd already announced that before this case.
So that's nothing to do with it, no?
No, it has nothing to do with getting re-elected or anything. I really think she sat down. He pleaded guilty. There wasn't a trial. He pleaded guilty. She gave her decision. And from everything I've read, if somebody has something different they want to offer, please call in and tell us. But I think she sat down and made a decision that kept him in the system longer.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from. I can see your point that if he does anything in the next 10 years, he can drag him back.
Absolutely.
By all means, it just...
Plus, he's still in jail tonight. He's still in juvenile jail tonight.
Yeah, so
they're holding on to him until they send him down to California.
To rehab.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay. So I kind of agree with that. Now, I want to just say that in the past, I've drank and I've drove. You know, I'm not an angel here. You know, for 10 years of my life, I was completely...
Some people would
out
say
of
you
control.
drove better. No, I'm just kidding. No, that's not true. No.
Well, of course. So I've drunk and driven in the past. It's not right, but I've done it because as an alcoholic, that's what I used to do. We don't think of what the consequences. We just do it. Now, in this fact, nobody's mentioning an alcoholic. We're just mentioning this young kid has taken this copious amounts of alcohol.
Well, he was in trouble before this, too.
Well, what do you know about that?
Well, let's get to that in just a minute. So.
Okay, guys, don't forget to give us a call in. You must have something to say on this, surely. 888-787-KLIF, 888-787-5543. It's a little bit controversial. It's been in the news all week. I've been doing radio interviews all week about this and a couple of TV interviews. And it's just a hot topic.
It's a horrible thing, and I'll tell you what. Really, I'm telling you, the judge getting death threats over her decision. What have we dropped to in society that we have to pick up the phone and threaten a judge's life because we disagree?
Exactly. And I'm not taking the side of the family here just because I'm not drinking today, as in nobody should drink and that's the way it goes. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is, you know, it just seems a horrific crime. I mean, one of the greatest things about America when I came over here was, I mean, I know this sounds horrible, but the sentencing was amazing. You do something wrong and you get sentenced over here. I remember coming over and listening to 4 life sentences. And me and my father was like, what? How can you serve 4 life sentences? But I get what they mean today. And all of a sudden you see this and my heart goes out to the families. I mean, I'm sure they want some sort of justice served. And I'm not sure whether this justice served is going to be right. I mean, I don't know. You know, what do you think? I don't know.
I mean, are they going to get closure from this sentence? No.
No, definitely not.
No.
Is it gonna make anybody feel better? No, it's not. No, it's not.
No.
So what's the thought out there, guys, in listener land? Give us a call. It's 888-787-KLIF. Let us know what you think about this controversial subject we started off with, but we think it needs talking about. News and information, 570 KLIF. We've got some more after the break.
Let's get down to it.
Do you have an addiction? Any kind? Drinking too much? Drugs? Sex? Whatever it is, there is a way out. A place and people who have been where you are and know they can help. It's Robb Kelly Recovery Group. Whether you or someone close to you needs help, be it an intervention, a sober coach, or a travel coach, the Robb Kelly Recovery Group is there for you. Whether it's long-term, short-term, or hit it full-on with detox, the Robb Kelly Recovery Group is there for all of your addiction recovery needs. Listen to their show every Saturday night from 11 to midnight. Get a clue as to where to start, or just listen to other people with your same addiction. Maybe that's your first step. Feel free to call the Robb Kelly Recovery Group at 214-790-8000 or go online to robbkelly.com. That's ROBBKELLY.com or call 214-790-8000. Addiction recovery is all they do. Call or go online now.
Welcome back to Talking Sober with your sober hosts, Robb Kelly and Michael Ray. The show where you can call in and ask for help or share your success story on how you beat your addiction. Call 888-787-KLIF. Now back to your hosts, Robb Kelly and Michael Ray.
Hey guys, welcome back. We're talking about the teen in Keller and the trouble he's in at the moment and the devastation that's been caused. We've got a call on the line. Richard Arlington, are you there, Richard? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hello, sir. How are you? Thank you for calling in.
Yes, sir. I appreciate y'all telling the other options that the judge had, because this is the first. I hadn't been going in depth, but this is the first I'd heard any radio or TV say that the other option would have been if they'd gone to jail just 2 years, and that would have been that. So this helps for me to understand and appreciate the thought and the ruling that the judge made.
Yeah, thank you, Richard.
Go ahead. Also wanted to comment on the, like you say, just the hundreds of people that ripple out from each of these deaths and each of these persons who was in the incident, family, friends, acquaintances, and it's just devastating.
It is, Richard. I know exactly. Which side of the fence are you on here, if you don't mind me asking, Richard? I mean, do you think there should be some sort of consequence here, or do you think that justice has been served?
Well, I think there should have been more consequences, but if the judge, following the current law, was only allowed to give either 2 years of juvenile detention or to give this probation and keep him in for 10 years and try to get him rehab and try to, and he'll also be watched. And like y'all were saying, if anything goes wrong, if he backslides, then he'll get pulled back in and actually go to jail. That seems like a better safety for society, and it might even get him straightened around. But it doesn't feel like justice.
No, it doesn't. And, this Michael, thanks, Richard, for calling, by the way. I got that from the NPR website. I was digging all over the internet all week trying to find some stories on this. And Mark, I believe his last name is Memott, Memmott, wrote a really good article on the NPR website. And he just gave why the judge did this. And he really goes in depth about it. And, he even mentions this affluenza disease that the defense brought up. She never brought that up in her ruling. So she didn't actually even reference that when she handed out her sentence. So, that everybody was really griping about that all across the news. But she never really brought it up at all. She never said this is why. She just really just handed down a sentence of what she thought was, and it may end up being stricter for him than what people think in the beginning. So, yeah, I know it feels like that justice wasn't served, but I really think in the long run, this kid's going to have a long, hard road to hoe, as my grandpa used to say. So, yeah.
Yes, I think he will. I hope that he'll work it and he'll get better.
Excellent
we do too.
Stuff. Thank you very much.
Thanks for
your
the call,
Richard.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all.
Excellent, guys. This is Talking Sober. My name is Robb Kelly. I'm here with my co-host, Michael Ray. Good topic there, Michael. Yeah, it's a bit controversial. Anyone else out there want to give us a call? 888-787-KLIF, 888-787-5543. Now, we're also going to be talking about do's and don'ts of holiday parties and holiday events, Christmas parties and stuff, as an alcoholic or a non-drinker. Anything you've had there, Michael?
Well, I was gonna go back for 1 second because I kind of teased you before the break that this wasn't the first time he was in trouble. He was found when he was 15, passed out in a truck with an undressed 14-year-old girl.
No.
Yeah, and if you want to add it a little bit more to it, he was also on Valium the night of the accident. So he also had Valium in his system. So he'd gotten Valium and stolen some beer and went out on a little run with his buddy. So I know that doesn't make anybody feel any better knowing that, but it wasn't the first time he's in trouble. So
that makes me even
to give you all the sides of the coin to the story.
Yeah, I'm good. You've done your research on this. Thanks, Michael, for that. I appreciate it. Wow, that's makes me feel even more sick to my stomach now about.
You're welcome.
And holidays, do's and don'ts, parties, and where to go and what to do. I know when I was at Christmas parties, I used to make a fool of myself every single time. And we've got some little hints how not to do that. Any embarrassing situations over there, Michael?
Oh, we probably need 2 more radio shows to go over my embarrassing situations at parties. Yeah, I've had a few. You know what? But I did announce last week that all my friends could not buy any alcohol from me this year. Because I'm not drinking.
Aha.
And I've gotten more invitations to Christmas parties and New Year's Eve parties already since I announced that last week. It went from 0 to 3.
Wow.
So, yeah, I've actually been invited to some parties this year, so I'm kind of excited.
Excellent stuff. Okay, here's a few tips I used to do when I used to go to Christmas parties. First of all, remember that when I used to get invited to a Christmas party, I used to thought it was an open bar. It was an event to go and get drunk as quick and as fast as I can, and permission to insult my boss. And that's not the case, would you say?
No, I would say probably, well, I mean, yes, I thought it was too. But no, I'd say that's probably not a good idea. I used to have people tell me, hey, you should only have a couple of drinks at office parties. And I was like, well, why? They're free. Exactly.
If there's a free bar, what are you going to do?
You try to drink it all.
Of course you do.
And see if they run out.
Exactly.
And then
if I walked into a bar and it said, okay, it'll be $2.20 or whatever, I'd pace myself. If I walked in and said it's free, I'm drinking like crazy because that's the kind of guy I am. And I'm sure other people are the same when they go to these. I mean, surely when you get invited to an office party, surely that's an invitation to get drunk.
Well, I like to take a designated driver when I would go to those.
A what? I've never heard of such thing.
Yeah, designated driver. That way they could hold 2 of my beers so I could quadruple fist it the whole party long. Yeah.
There you go. Okay, here's what not to do, guys, if you're interested about going to these Christmas parties. Don't go out on an empty stomach. I've tried that before. It doesn't work. Eat a nice, well-balanced diet before you go out. Make sure you always do that. A nutritious meal. Don't eat salty foods.
What?
Yeah, exactly. Why? Because it makes you thirstier.
What?
You're going to drink more and get drunk a lot quicker. And here's the one I didn't understand. Don't drink carbonated water.
Why not?
Because it speeds up, chemically, it speeds up the process of getting intoxicated.
What about carbonated beer?
Carbonated beer, the same thing. It speeds
Really?
up. Of course it does, yeah.
What?
What about Perrier? Same thing. It speeds up.
But it's French. That's okay.
Oh, okay. So that's what we're going to do. Anything else, Michael? Any fun facts over there you've got?
Well, I mean, I got some great stuff on prescription painkillers coming up here.
Now, there's another thing as well. People say to me, this drinking and driving and drugging and street drugs. Well, let's talk about prescription drugs after the break. I mean, how deep are we into this? This is going crazy.
It's huge. I mean, it's really. I have some facts for you here in a little bit, and it's gonna knock that beanie off your head you got over there. You're wearing your nice beanie tonight.
Of course. Well, we're getting filmed tonight, guys. Just in case you heard that comment from Michael, we're both wearing our beanie hats. We're getting filmed. Chris is in the studio with us, and he's doing his best. We'll be on YouTube Live. Rob Kelly Recovery Center. I'll be on there. Rob Kelly Recovery Group. We'll be recorded live today, but we'll be on there tomorrow. Yeah, that's right. Here's your do's for the Christmas parties. Do pace yourself. Remember what that word is, Michael. Pace yourself.
What?
I know. He's reckon 1 drink every hour. I'm not sure whether I've ever did 1 drink every hour. And then you alternate that with an 8-ounce glass of water.
Water?
Exactly. You know that stuff that's non-alcoholic.
I thought that was a condensation on the side of the beer bottle. The water. No? That's not good.
No. Remember, guys, it's not a social event. It's an office event, so we go prepared. Looks like it was going to work. 40% of people who attend these functions, would you believe, say something to their boss inappropriate. 12% out of that 40% get fired. There's repercussions after what they say. Can you imagine? I've had so many times next morning when I've woke up and thought, oh my goodness, what did I say?
If you remembered the event.
If I remembered the event, of course. 9 times out of 10 I didn't. But today, being sober, That's what the show's called. Talking sober is a great feeling. I remember everything today. It's a great feeling.
It
But
is.
There were
It
them
is
days
good.
when I wasn't. So when I hear stories about this, going back to this teen again, guys, give us a call. Don't forget, 888-787-5543. Give us a call on the teens. Give us a call on the office parties, do's and don'ts, any embarrassing situations. Give me a call and we'll talk about it. But going back to the teen again, because we're going to keep going back to this.
Well, let me throw this out there real quick.
Okay.
Do you know if you're at a restaurant or anywhere you're drinking, if you need a ride home, they are obligated to help you get a cab ride home.
Are you serious in America? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Most restaurants will call most restaurants, if you ask the bartender for the number of the cab, they have one ready.
Wow.
You have to pay for it.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you have to pay for it. And a lot of times the restaurants are nice enough to make sure you get home okay. And, they'll make sure you get a cab ride.
Nice.
Yeah, and in fact, I mean, there's laws in effect for these restaurants to be over-serving people. They can't just serve you to unconsciousness like a lot of people think. They have laws that restrict that.
Yeah, see, that's different in the UK a little bit. I mean, the laws are not so strict.
The whole country's drunk over there.
I beg your pardon. That's my
sorry.
country you're talking about.
Oh, sorry.
You can't just
Not
say
anymore,
things like that.
but you're here.
Oh, yeah, I'm American now,
Yeah,
guys,
you
in
are.
case you don't know. I'm an American citizen. So give us a call, guys.
A Texan American citizen.
Yeah, I come from East Texas. I got it as
East
quick as I
Texas,
could.
that's
888-787-5543. 888-787-5543.
And don't forget, do not drink and drive. I mean,
This is a serious matter,
this is a
guys.
serious matter. Do not, if you're a little bit buzzed, are you drunk, Rob?
Get a taxi.
Are you drunk if you're a little bit buzzed?
Of course you are.
Are you impaired to drive if you're a little bit buzzed?
Exactly, definitely you are.
So you got that little bit of buzz, but you can handle it.
Of course.
Not.
I always could. Not.
Yeah,
Exactly.
not. Exactly. That's why you ended up not drinking, because you couldn't do it.
I know. I got.
A lot of people think they can handle it on the way home, and the cops are sitting right outside of some of these places waiting to take you to that nice little.
I love these countries that have the no nonsense rule. If you have any alcohol at all in your system, they will prosecute you. And I truly believe you should do that again today. And I'm not just saying that because I don't drink today. I'm not harder on what it used to be. I'm just saying the law is the law. And when you sit back and you're sober and you're looking at the things you used to do that was embarrassing and dangerous. I mean, some of the stuff I used to do was so dangerous. I talk about it when I go out and speak. I speak all over the world on this, because the more I tell this story, more I tell my story, the easier it is for me to realize that, these were embarrassing situations, but they were dangerous as well.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
I to get over it, it's unbelievable. Okay, guys, news and information, 570 KLIF.
Let's get down to it. Do you have an addiction? Any kind? Drinking too much? Drugs? Sex? Whatever it is, there is a way out. A place and people who have been where you are and know they can help. It's Robb Kelly Recovery Group. Whether you or someone close to you needs help, be it an intervention, a sober coach, or a travel coach, the Robb Kelly Recovery Group is there for you. Whether it's long-term, short-term, or hit it full-on with detox, the Robb Kelly Recovery Group is there for all of your addiction recovery needs. Listen to their show every Saturday night from 11 to midnight. Get a clue as to where to start, or just listen to other people with your same addiction. Maybe that's your first step. Feel free to call the Robb Kelly Recovery Group at 214-790-8000 or go online to robbkelly.com. That's ROBBKELLY.com or call 214-790-8000. Addiction recovery is all they do. Call or go online now.
Welcome back to Talking Sober with your sober hosts, Robb Kelly and Michael Ray. The show where you can call in and ask for help or share your success story on how you beat your addiction. Call 888-787-KLIF. Now back to your hosts, Robb Kelly and Michael Ray.
Welcome back, guys. My name's Robb Kelly. I'm here with Michael Ray, or as we like to call him, Mikey Mike.
No, do not do that. I said I'm not going to be Mikey Mike.
Some of the stuff I used to go up to, Mike. Remember when I used to tell him stories about... I used to love to go and drink, and I just tried to get away with as much as I can. And here's the crazy thing. I would spend hours and hours trying to hide my drinks around the house.
This is the best Rob Kelly stories ever is hiding his alcohol. Oh, absolutely.
I know.
Some of the things you think of.
If
I'd have read your stuff when I was drinking, I would have done it. It was awesome.
I know. I used to spend hours and hours thinking of creative things to hide. And of course, my wife used to come home, God bless that woman, used to come home and she used to find it like in 30 seconds. And I'm like, how did she do it? I've no idea how she did it. So I had to get a bit creative, Michael, as you know.
Yes.
And what I did is I used to go to the local library and I'd look at old newspapers, say 3 months old, and I would buy them because you had to buy them because they were 3 months old. And I would wrap my bottles inside these papers, these old papers, and I'd hide them around the house again in these great places. And of course, my wife would come home and within minutes she'd find it. And of course, I would point at the paper and go, hey, that's a newspaper 3 months old. I've not been drinking today. That must have been 3 months ago. Oh, I got away with that for absolutely ages and ages. It was phenomenal.
That's really good. I never really did hide my alcohol. I drank it so quickly I didn't have to hide it.
Yeah, do you know, I used to, there's a period of time when I lived on my own and I actually hid it when I was on my own. And I never really got that until I really got into the psychological part of the alcoholic and the alcoholic mind. And I realized why I used to do that. Guys, give us a call. Any of your stories or you want to talk about anything at all, 888-787-KLIF, 888-787-5543. What else have you got there, Michael?
Well, I was looking on the internet here right before we came on because I was trying to get my iPad to work, which isn't working for some reason. And excessive drinking, 75,000 deaths a year now.
75,000
CDC website.
deaths, yeah.
9 people will die while we're doing this show.
Wow.
In the hour we're on, 9 people will die from using alcohol. I mean, that's just, it's horrible. And I don't know. It's just people just out there I don't think they realize how big this is with people out there just abusing the alcohol. I mean, 9 people this hour. That's just horrible.
23 million people in the USA are addicted to alcohol. And there are so many treatment centers you can go to these days to get help, which is a good thing. But at the end of the day, it's 23 million people. Everybody, what did we say last week? Everybody knows somebody who is suffering from a drug or alcohol problem, and if it's not, and if they don't, it's probably them.
Yep, it's probably you if you don't know somebody.
What else have you got?
Well, I was also digging this
What have
week.
you got for me?
This is what I got. Prescription painkillers. Everybody has them, right?
Yes, I've got loads.
You do? Do you?
No, I don't really.
Because if you do, statistics say you will share them with me. 52% of people who get painkillers, prescription painkillers, get them from their friends.
Wow.
For free. Now, 17% of those same people, well, not the same, 17 additional percent there, will actually sell them to their friend or family member.
That's crazy.
And that's huge, isn't it? For every one person that dies from addiction painkillers, or for prescription painkillers, 10 more people are in treatment for it.
Wow.
32 people have to go to the ER. 130 people become addicts. And 825 people will have to go to the ER, or for non-medical users. That's how many people will use them today. 825 people will use them today for the first time.
That's just amazing.
For every person that dies.
That's crazy. And yet, well, why is it, I kind of know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask you anyway.
Okay.
Why is it that we're still in this taboo subject of alcoholism and addiction? Why is it we can't mention it?
I don't know. People are just, they're embarrassed.
It's like a stigma attached to it.
Absolutely, yeah. People are embarrassed to say they have that black sheep. That's what they used to call it, the black sheep in the family. That's what they meant.
Exactly. I was that black, and you was that black sheep. I know you
Absolutely.
was. And I was as well. And I look back, and it was a horrible time in my life. I'm just so glad I got through it.
But that's what they used to mean back in the day,
yeah.
30, 40, 50 years ago. Well, that's the black sheep in the family.
Right.
Well, what were they talking about?
Of course, yeah. Talking about the alcoholic.
Talking about the alcoholic, the drug
the
user,
addict.
the guy that was on the street.
Yeah.
It was probably the same thing, the alcoholic and the guy using drugs that was on the street.
That's what when I was drinking, I always looked back and thought, I'll never become an alcoholic, because the alcoholics are them guys on the street that's got the old raincoat on and the string tied around the waist, and that was the alcoholic. I didn't know that I could become an alcoholic. And my family was absolutely devastated when I actually went home and told them that.
I thought alcoholics were people that just went to meetings.
Oh, of course, yeah. And here's one for you. Here's a serious one for you. Alcoholics are not people who just drink too much, would you believe?
Yeah, I believe that.
I know people, because it's a disease, I know people that drank more than me and never turned out to be alcoholics. But I had the gene, I had the disease. I was born with the disease. And it's not only about the alcohol. The alcohol has got little to do with my alcoholism. Okay, it's everything else that goes with it, and we'll get into that further on in the shows coming ahead. But it is a horrible disease, guys. But we try and make it fun. We tell funny stories. I go to different meetings. Once again, I'm not here to promote any outside causes, but you can find my meetings right at the beginning of the telephone book, right at the beginning, and it helps me, speaking to other like-minded people.
You know what? One of the neatest things you ever said. We were at one of these meetings, and you probably remember when I started talking about it. The lady who walked in, who was completely intoxicated to come to the meeting.
Yeah.
I mean, she was crying. She was, I have degrees from here. I have a PhD from here, and she's completely intoxicated.
Yeah.
And her life was just upside down. And of course, you see everybody in there like going, oh my God. I mean, this is a room of alcoholics.
Yeah.
And we're already like going, oh my God, what's coming in here? What are we having to put up with? What's going on today? And you were when she left the room, she was crying. One of the ladies took her outside to console her. And you were the one that said, if we can't be here for drunks among drunks, if we can't be here for somebody that is drunk, we don't have any business being here.
Exactly.
And I thought it was one of the best things you ever said. And it made me feel bad because I was one of those people going, oh, golly, I was kind of making fun of her. Yeah. And, that's wrong. I mean, that lady was sick. She needed help. And fortunately, there were smarter people there than I that at that moment took her out and helped take care of her.
I know. There's some, I'm just thinking back now when you just said that, you made me think about some sad times in my life, when I couldn't even walk. I was that intoxicated, and I'd fall unconscious on the floor, and the kids throwing diapers at me and stuff, and I'd wake up, and it's just absolutely horrible. They were horrible days, and that's one of the reasons why I do what I do today. And one of the reasons why we do this show is because, we want to shine the light on this stuff. People out there think they're on their own when they have this disease, and they're not on their own. Pick that phone up, guys. Call us. We've got Chris who's answering all your calls today. 888-787-KLIF, 888-787-5543. I know there's some guys calling just for advice. That's okay. You can do that, guys. If you want to speak to me or Mike, you can give us a call as well. Let's talk about DUI for a second and DWI. Well, every time I think of DUI, driving while intoxicated, and driving under the influence, I'm thinking of myself, well, you're going to lose your license, you're going to lose your career. But we were speaking the other day, and it goes a lot deeper than that, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's the least of your worries. That is the least amount of things that can happen to you if you do that. You could die.
Exactly, yeah.
You could die.
Or kill somebody else.
And what I say about killing somebody, you take away all they got and all they're ever going to have.
Exactly.
And you take something away from yourself. I mean, it's just, when you get in that car, if you've been drinking, it's a loaded weapon.
Yeah. It
is full of gasoline. It can go really fast. And guess what? You're not steering really well or braking really well.
And that's again what I like about the American law is they charge you with using it as a dangerous weapon,
Absolutely. And they should.
Yeah,
they should.
Definitely.
They should.
Loss of license, loss of ownership, loss of career, loss of life, taking other people's lives as well. Guys, it's the Christmas period coming up. Beg of you not to drink and drive, That's what the taxes
are. Yeah, don't make somebody have a very bad Christmas because you want a couple of drinks before you hit the road.
Seems like a great idea. I was also talking earlier about the teen over in Keller there who was unfortunate enough to drink and go behind the wheel and kill 4 people, maim 2 people. There was 7 in his car. A terrible time. Give us a call about that, guys, if you want. 888-787-KLIF. What else have you got, Michael?
Well, I don't think I actually told how many people are dying a year from these prescription painkillers. I was looking this up, and it really surprised me that prescription painkiller deaths, these are people who get them that aren't supposed to have them. They're killing more people than heroin and cocaine a year combined.
And that's prescription drugs are killing more people.
Yes, the prescription drugs being used badly.
Prescription drugs that we get off our own doctors.
Well, yeah, people are getting them off their own doctors. They're keeping them. They're not. And this on. I was watching TV the other day. I forget what news channel it was on. They were doing a thing about how to get rid of them. People are keeping them, even if they don't use them all. They're keeping them, putting them in their drawer because that tooth's going to hurt again or that back's going to hurt again. They're keeping them. Yeah. Well, then guess what happens? Either you end up using them again, which I guess are your drugs, and you got them legally, or you're giving them to somebody else, which I think everybody in America is probably guilty of that.
Yeah, I must admit, when I came over to America, I was quite disappointed with the way that prescription drugs are sort of really dealt out quite easily over here, with it being mostly private insurance. It's different in the UK again. Just in case you're wondering, guys, that's where I'm from, the UK.
Do they have medicine in the UK?
They do have medicine, and it's
Really?
free.
They have hospitals in the UK?
They have hospitals, and they're free.
Do they have roads in the UK?
They have roads, and they have Christmas in the UK, would you believe?
They don't call it Santa Claus, though. They call it Father Christmas. That's just wrong.
But that's okay. That's
Really?
okay. But there's Star Trek over there as well. Don't forget.
The what?
There's Star Trek as well over there.
Star Trek?
Yeah.
No.
Guys, if you can't stop drinking, what you do? You give us a call, guys. We can put you in touch with people. Give us a call, 888-787-5543. Office parties as well, we was talking about earlier on before. Just before we go to the break, what else have you got, Michael?
Well, I just did a lot of research on the painkillers, and in 1999, there were 4,000 deaths a year.
Wow. What about...
By 2010, it was 16,000.
Wow. I wonder why that's just being forgotten about. You don't hear that in the news.
Well, it's starting to come out. I really think this is going to be the next big epidemic.
Yeah.
Is people are going to be like, hey, wait a minute, we can't give you 80 Valium today.
Yeah, yeah.
You got to go to the doctor every 15
laws
days.
should be tightened up?
You know, I'm not a big proponent of tightening up laws. That's just me. But
Right.
yeah, I think we have to think about tightening that up a little bit, where people are actually having to go to the doctor more and make sure they should have them and they're using them responsibly instead of just handing them out or selling them.
Yep.
And I've seen it in parts of Fort Worth. You see people getting out of the hospital and they're selling their drugs. So
Yeah, I've seen it myself. It's, it's
sad.
pretty sad. It's pretty sad, but it happens. And the alcohol as well, you know, I was just thinking back, you know, if alcohol was illegal today, you know, where would we be? I don't think it'd be ever introduced to society ever again if it was illegal today, or they would try to legalize it today. We'll be right back after this, guys. This is News and Information, 570 KLIF.
Let's get down to it. Do you have an addiction? Any kind? Drinking too much? Drugs? Sex? Whatever it is, there is a way out. A place and people who have been where you are and know they can help. It's Robb Kelly Recovery Group. Whether you or someone close to you needs help, be it an intervention, a sober coach, or a travel coach, the Robb Kelly Recovery Group is there for you. Whether it's long-term, short-term, or hit it full-on with detox, the Robb Kelly Recovery Group is there for all of your addiction recovery needs. Listen to their show every Saturday night from 11 to midnight. Get a clue as to where to start, or just listen to other people with your same addiction. Maybe that's your first step. Feel free to call the Robb Kelly Recovery Group at 214-790-8000 or go online to robbkelly.com. That's ROBBKELLY.com or call 214-790-8000. Addiction recovery is all they do. Call or go online now.
Welcome back to Talking Sober with your sober hosts, Robb Kelly and Michael Ray. The show where you can call in and ask for help or share your success story on how you beat your addiction. Call 888-787-KLIF. Now back to your hosts, Robb Kelly and Michael Ray.
Welcome back, guys. Robb Kelly, and here's my co-host, Michael Ray.
Rob, what's going on?
Oh, not much. I'm enjoying myself today.
You're dancing around the studio.
I am
you
dancing
look
around the studio
really
today.
strapping today.
Oh, well, thank you very much
Yeah,
indeed.
that's
Very
what I mean.
kind.
We're videoing today, and I noticed you wore your best sweatshirt and beanie.
It's a sweatshirt that my girlfriend gave me.
That's awesome. That's
I
awesome.
know, it is.
I won't say what football team it belongs to because it may get rid of some listeners right off the bat.
So, we was talking during the break, and you had worst films that Robb Kelly might drink again to.
Well, yeah, I was thinking because we were stuck. People don't know this. We were stuck in a hotel room last weekend waiting for the show, and then it iced, and we got stuck down here for about 4 days, and we were just stuck in a hotel room, and there was nothing to do except the Red Box around the corner, and or drink. So we watched movies instead of drinking because we decided that probably would not be a good idea doing a talking sober show after drinking.
Well, of course not.
Okay, so we watched a really, really bad Grown Ups 2.
Oh, guys, come on. Grown Ups 2 was terrible.
Wait, what?
Absolutely. Chris is in the other room going, Grown Ups 2 was great. It was the worst film
Chris
I've
picked it
ever
out,
seen
yeah.
in my life, guys.
Yeah.
I'll never get them 2 hours back ever again.
No, I think it was 2.5. In fact, I think we took a IQ test before and after the movie, and I got dumber. So yeah, I think
I was with you, so that was Dumber and Dumber.
Yeah, Dumb and Dumber right there. So I pulled up some more movies because I was just wondering what else was out there because there were supposed to be a lot of great movies this year, and I go back to this first one I looked up, The Lone Ranger.
Oh, wow.
Big Johnny Depp movie, and I like Johnny Depp. I like Pirates of the Caribbean and things like that. And I'm looking at this movie, and they spent $215 million on making this movie.
How much?
$215 million with an
Oh, my
M.
goodness.
Yeah, and guess how much it made off the top of your head? What do you think it made?
100 million?
Worldwide.
200 million.
260.5 million.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, so, yeah, and I think Johnny made like 200 million to make that. I don't know. I'm just making that up. I
Hey,
don't know.
Johnny, good to see you again.
Yeah. Jack the Giant Slayer.
Jack the Giant Slayer.
Which supposed to be a big Jack and the Beanstalk movie. I don't know. Anybody see it? Anybody see it? Chris, did you see it?
Chris saw it, I think.
Chris sees all the bad movies. I mean, if there's a bad movie out there, Chris has seen it. Guess how much that one took to make?
I would say
Jack and the Beanstalk now. 3 beans.
300 million.
300 million for Jack the Beanstalk? Come on.
How much then?
195 million to make.
Oh, to make. I thought
Yeah, to make.
Okay.
Okay. How much did it bring in?
Ask me the question again.
How much did it bring in worldwide?
300 million.
197.7. It made a whopping $2.7 million.
Wow.
Made by Warner Brothers.
What else you got?
Oh, here's another one. Now, this one I wanted to go see until it came out and it got really bad reviews, which I saw it, the preview. I thought this looks funny. R.I.P.D. about cops that come back to do whatever they do. They come back from the grave and they go around. I guess they find, I don't know. What do they find, Chris? Monsters or something? I know you've seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't know. He's in there. He's playing with Twizzlers or something. Anyway, $130 million to make. $130 million to make. What do you think it brought in worldwide?
Let me guess. 60 million.
Close. 78.3 million.
78.3 million.
Yeah. So I know you go to the movies all the time, so I know you
never go to the movies.
And those are the other three that are on here I've never even heard of, so they must have been really bad for me not to even have heard of them, but I'm sure Chris probably rented them and charged the card for them and all that stuff. So that's those are movies that would make you want to drink again, and I bet some people at Warner Brothers and Buena Vista and Universal probably want to drink again too after making those movies and then losing that amount of money.
Definitely.
So yeah, that's kind of sad. We're getting to that year end where all the lists are coming out. So want to get a couple of our lists in there, and that's the only one I could think of because we've only been on the air for 2 shows, so we don't have a lot of lists available yet.
And going back to a serious note.
Uh-oh.
If you want to stop drinking around Christmas time, guys, give us a call. We've got loads of contact numbers for you. You can call. Don't be alone out there at Christmas because I spent too many Christmases alone when there was no one to turn to. There's somewhere to turn to now, guys. It's Talking Sober. We're on the air every single week from 11 till midnight on a Saturday evening here at KLIF, bringing you some fun facts, bringing you some serious sides, bringing you everything we can in the news, and telling you about our personal stories. I want to just touch on something that you said last week, Michael, because it really touched my heart again, is when the family was involved in your recovery and what your daughter said to you around about Christmas time or birthday time. I can't remember when it was.
It was a birthday time, and I want to say it was a birthday time. It was a gift giving event. I forget the date.
Right.
And I looked at her and said, "Hey, I'm sorry I didn't get you anything." And she said, "You know what? I got my dad back."
Wow, there you go.
And she's gonna get sick of hearing this. She's probably listening right now. Just I don't know, probably either burying her head in the pillow or whatever. But yeah, she said, "I got my dad back," and I say that over and over again. This is the first Christmas I've been sober in 20 plus years.
That's just amazing.
In fact, I went to one of those. I was out shopping today. Well, I was watching people shop because I thought it was funny. It's not funny. It is okay. Watching the stress on people. It is funny watching the stress on people, and they're going through there, and they're mad as they can be going through the stores.
I know, right?
And they're hostile almost. And I mean, mothers threatening daughters. Little kids. I don't know. It's crazy. Dogs and cats together. It was anyway. And just seeing the stress on their face, and I remember I've been drunk all the times I've gone to the mall in the last 20 years, wow. and I was just sitting there watching them, going, "Wow, this is really stressful for people." And I just left. I just went back home because I just like, I'm not staying here. I don't need this kind of stress. I'll go shop some other time.
Yeah,
they were stressing today because I know last weekend everybody got iced in, and I'm sure the retailers are going nuts. Nobody could go shopping last weekend. Nobody could get out for
we come down there last weekend. There was nobody on the streets. It was just
some of the restaurants were closed downtown.
Yeah,
it was. I mean, it was a ghost town. We'd go to eat dinner and we'd be like, there'd be 2 tables in there.
Yep.
What was it? Friday night there were 2 tables at one of the places in the West End. So yeah, it was pretty bad, and a lot of places closed down. So yeah, it's pretty stressful out there, and so everybody just hang in there. We'll get through it together, the Christmas season.
Definitely.
And it's supposed to be a joyful time. And
it is, guys.
And when you get stressed and you feel like drinking, get that accountability buddy on the phone if you're not supposed to be drinking or you shouldn't be drinking, and call somebody that knows you shouldn't be doing that, and talk to them and talk your way out of it. Don't do it.
Yeah, more people relapse around this time of the season. I know that for a fact. Being in the industry and being, around alcohol recovery for the last 35 years or so, this time of year is always awkward. People often say to me when I go out, Rob, what do you say to your friends when you go out that you don't drink? Because it's such a stigma. It's like, what? You don't drink? It's like, well, no. Well, why don't you drink? What's the matter with you? Are you alcoholic? I come up with all sorts of answers. Sometimes I say I'm back in training, or sometimes I say I'm taking medication. Sometimes I just be blatant and go, hey, guys, I'm allergic to alcohol, because that is what I am as an alcoholic. I'm allergic to alcohol. I have a different reaction when I take it inside my body to what my guy next to me does. He can take it with impunity. I can't. When I take alcohol into my body, it does different things to me, guys. It really does, and I'm never the same. So I can't have any alcohol inside my body whatsoever, whether it be New Year, Christmas, whatever the occasion is. I have to be careful, and what I'll do is I'll go to the bar, and I will watch that drink come across the bar, and I will guard that drink all night long to make sure nobody says, come on, let's give Rob a good drink. Let's, he'll be okay, just have one. And I take that first drink, and then I'm off to the races. There's no stopping me. I can't just have one drink. And if you're suffering from the same disease that I suffered from, guys, you know what I'm talking about. We can't just have one drink. When it gets inside me, I act differently. And I was sick of those days. There's a saying around the recovery world, sick of being sick and tired. I got to that point where I just couldn't do this anymore. Guys, I lost my family over this disease. I lost a wife. I lost children. I lost my mom and dad. I lost sisters and brothers. I lost friends. I lost everybody. And I ended up on the streets homeless. How'd you go from $1 million house to being homeless? What's that all about? It's called the disease of alcoholism. That's what it's all about. That's the serious side of alcoholism. So when I get on here and we have fun today, it's because I spent too many times crying in the past. I spent too many lonely times on my own, where I wasn't there for my children, for my wife, for my parents, for my brother, for my sister, for my friends. I lost all that. I wasn't there for them. I wasn't capable of being there for them. That's alcoholism. It's not the drinking. The drinking's got nothing to do with it. It's the way I am. It's the way I'm built. But there's a way around it, guys. There is recovery. You can recover from the disease of alcoholism. And I've seen you, Michael. You're just a different person over the last, months or whatever it may be, years that you've been sober. I've watched you change over that period to a different person. And I know some of your family in the studio tonight, and they're just so proud of what you've done.
Oh yeah, I hear it every day, and I'm glad I'm able to hear it because I was a mess. There's no doubt I was a lost cause. I was a mess, and my friends knew it. I have a real good friend out there, and no, I won't say his name on air, but he told me a while back. He goes, "You're a mess," and when things got really bad, and I went to the hospital, I called him that night, and I was trying to get him to come over to the house and hang out with me. And I told him I'd quit drinking if he came over, and I don't even remember calling him. And, he told me again this last week, he told me the story again, and he said, he tried to call me the next day and he didn't hear from me. And he started checking the obituaries. That's just sad. He was checking the obituaries to see if I was alive. And I called him 8 days later when I got out of the hospital. And, he said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Why wouldn't I be?" He goes, "Man, I couldn't find you. I've been thinking you were dead."
I know, it's sad. It's sad, but not anymore. We're back, and we're here to stay. We're clean and sober today, guys. Talking Sober is the name of the show. We're here every Saturday evening from 11 till 12, bringing you all the fun facts and everything else, the sad stories, who's in the news, who's not in the news, and we'll be back next week. Don't forget, guys, the number next week is 888-787-KLIF. Give us a call. We'll be here as usual, and we'll see you next week.
Let's get down to it. Do you have an addiction? Any kind? Drinking too much? Drugs? Sex? Whatever it is, there is a way out. A place and people who have been where you are and know they can help. It's Robb Kelly Recovery Group. Whether you or someone close to you needs help, be it an intervention, a sober coach, or a travel coach, the Robb Kelly Recovery Group is there for you. Whether it's long-term, short-term, or hit it full-on with detox, the Robb Kelly Recovery Group is there for all of your addiction recovery needs. Listen to their show every Saturday night from 11 to midnight. Get a clue as to where to start, or just listen to other people with your same addiction. Maybe that's your first step. Feel free to call the Robb Kelly Recovery Group at 214-790-8000 or go online to robbkelly.com. That's ROBBKELLY.com or call 214-790-8000. Addiction recovery is all they do. Call or go online now.
News and information 570 AM.
96.3 FM HD2. KLIF Dallas. KSCS FM HD2.